Okay, people. So, right, it's that time of year. It's now December. So the Christmas films are really coming at us. And yeah, Signature sent me through a new joint called the Mistletoe Ranch. Okay. It is directed by Rhiannon Bannenberg, written by Claire J. Harris. The film is produced by Steve Jaggy. It is executive produced, right, by Stephanie Slack, Compton Ross, James Huntsman, Phil Hunt, Lionel Hicks, and Lisa Gutberlet. It is associate produced by Stephanie Lefevre and Sophie Tilson. It is co-produced by Kylie Pascoe and Kelly Son Hing. And it is line produced by Elizabeth Simons. Um, Angela Little and Rose Mackenzie Peterson handle the music. Tony O'Loughlin is our cinematographer. Ahmed Halimi edits the film. Casting is Ben Parkinson. Daniela Rigby handles production design. Set decoration is Neil Mitchell. And Stephanie Bannenberg handles the costume design. So, yes. Hair and makeup is Sitka Stokes, Natalie Stanfield, Cameron Smith, Talaya Johnson, Georgie Hughes, and Mariah Graveson. And our cast. Well, we have got Aimée Tremblay, played by Mercy Cornwall, James Hunt, played by Jordi Webster, James's daughter Juniper is played by Molly B. Wright. His mother Sienna is played by Kimberly Joseph. His ex-wife Sage is played by Ellie Popov. His friend, mentor Charlie is played by Charles Allen. We've got Micah, played by Trent Owers. Right, I think he works on the ranch. There's Amy's mother, Molly, played by Holly Attard. Her oh, there's Ivy, right, played by Andrea Moore. They're our main people. Her friend and work colleague, I forget his name. I feel we did get the name. It's not listed, but he's played by Stephen Cragg, right? Yeah. And the gist of the film is this: Amy, a young professional photographer whose job is to follow boss Gustav, a world famous photographer himself. As the holidays approach, Amy receives notice that her family's traditional Christmas celebrations are under threat. Do do do. Yes. So there it is. Yeah, it's like we start off, right? And we've got a young Amy and a young James in the woods, and they're having fun, all of this. She's taking some photos. He proposes, right? And they seem all happy. Then we jump forward 8 years, right? 8 years. So some stuff has gone down because now we're in the city, right? Amy's on a photo shoot. Gustav hasn't showed up, so obviously she saves the day, right? And then we find out that this is, something that has happened numerous times, right? It's just like, where this is going, right? From jump, you kind of be like, okay, right, right. She then is, it's just before Christmas, and she's talking about plans with Gustav's personal assistant, right? And he's encouraging her to go out on her own. She's just like, I don't, it's all one of them ones. Then some letters get given, and it's like, oh yeah, I got my post, and you're thinking, like, just that alone is a bit odd, right? It's a bit odd. But she's all fuming because she's got notice that the Christmas party has been cancelled. So then but she's like, oh, I've got no time to go home for Christmas. Then suddenly she's home, right? She's suddenly home. And you're like, well, what? You, what's happening here? Because suppose you had no time. You had no time for fake ones. Hit the freestyle with the real ones from freestyle. But, right? No time to suddenly she's got bare time because we just now have her on the ranch doing stuff and blah, 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 blah. But, right, it's like, it's one of them films. Like, I feel if you like a Lifetime movie, right? You know the ones, people. If that's your jam, then this will be you, right? This is what Mistletoe Ranch is. It's for the Lifetime movie crew, right? It's all that, because it's one of those stories that it could have been cleared up in the first few minutes. It's a fucking conversation, right? So like, these people are morons. You know what I mean? Like, the characters are stupid, right? There's a reason the Christmas party's been cancelled. But instead of being like, oh, I wonder what's happening, it's just, it's one of those ones like, how dare you do this thing? Oh, blah, 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 blah. And then, the real story comes out, and it's like, oh, ooh. Right? But then, instead of being like, okay, so how do we, it's just like, oh, we'll still throw the party. And you're just like, "Oy, oh my gosh." Right? It's, you understand what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to be like, oh, well, Christmas is about this and it's not about that, and blah blah blah. But the rub is, there's so many elements that you can't, because they're just like, oh, Molly's mum used to do, Molly's mum's been dead for, I think, 3 years, right? And so it's just like, okay, if that's the case, then what's been going down? Right? There's no real explanation to really why the ranch is in trouble. Was it in a bad way when Molly's mum was still there? Ah, but it's like, you have people going, oh, this is the first time I've ever cooked a cake before. And it's just like, but why? Right? Like, who was, we know that James's mum was supposedly putting on these Christmas parties in the previous years, but it's just like, wait, on her own? Like, no one's doing this shit just on their J's, right? So obviously, people have been, just help Molly's mum put it all together. But it's just like, who is doing that? Because that's the thing, like, there's no one else around, type of thing. It's just like, this is what we're gonna do, and this is how we're gonna and you're just like, wait, whoa. Where's all the other components? Like, we don't really see any other young people in the place. Don't see them. Even at the end, in the party scenes, it's not really any other young people there. There's definitely no more kids. right? And you're just like, wait, what the fuck is going? you know, it's like when you watch those soaps, right? I just remember like there's things like EastEnders and Coronation Street over in the UK, which are terrible, terrible. But as a kid, you'd watch them because your parents would watch them, and there's a few young people, right? Just a few, like two or three. But whenever one of them's got a party going on, it's just like, oh, it's my sixth birthday party. Can I have a party? And it's just like, yeah, we'll put you on a big party. There's never any young kids at the party. It's just all the other people that the parents know and hang out with, all the other characters. And you're just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Where's the young people? Like, what's happened? And that's what this is, right? There's no other young people. So you're just like, okay, so what's James been doing? You know what I mean? Like, what's he been doing? Well, like all this time while Amy's been off doing photography. You know, it's just these weird things. We never really understand who Charlie is because Charlie's always there. And yes, he's meant to, he was the previous manager of the ranch before James took over. But, right? But, because you think, is he James's dad? Like, I don't know. I don't know. So it's just a weird, it's just weird. And you have Amy talking, going, "Oh yes, this means like this place means the world to me," and blah blah blah. But she's never been back. Yes, her mum died, but right, there's all this other stuff, and you're just like, "Hey, it doesn't make any sense." I mean, that the house has been empty for 3 years, right, since her last visit. There's no dust in the house. You know what I mean? There's no dust, dirt, nothing, nothing. Right? It's when we see them out on the ranch doing the things at the end of the day, never dirty. No one's ever dirty. You just like, wait, how? Right? How? She doesn't recognize the horse. Right? Suppose she had a childhood horse, doesn't recognize it, but remembers the words to a song. And you're just like, that mate, like, no. I'm not like it makes no sense. There's a load of things here that makes no sense. They get the daughter to do a solo for the choir. The daughter can't sing for shit. Daughter can't sing for shit, and you're wondering, surely, right? One of the other people in the choir, they'd want to do it. Like that's some crazy nepotism. You know what I mean? Because James's mum runs the choir. Okay, so it's like, and now she gets her granddaughter to do. It's just like, yo, what's happening? Listen, kid actors is a tough thing. It's a tough thing, but yeah, like it's you don't want to because sometimes I feel it's not maybe the kid, it's the direction they're getting, but it's not great, right? There's a lot of relationships that you feel there feels like there's nothing there. I will say though, towards the end, right, there's a scene where James and Amy are playing the piano. Then there's another scene when they're dancing. In like those scenes, actually, you felt something. There was something. It felt like there was something there. In the rest of the film, not really much. But it's when someone's like, "Oh, that person, oh, they're a recluse. No one can ever find that person." As soon as that gets said in a film, you know that person is going to show up and you know who that person is because they will show up in numerous places. But people are like, who is that stranger? You know what I mean? We get that. And then the whole ending is just what? Right? Because it's like this ridiculous offer is made. And I say this ridiculous offer, right? There's no real, it's just like, how you like that's a crazy decision to make when you don't know someone and oh, you saw a few photos and you're saying this shit. It's like, but that's been made. But then it's just like, oh, I might turn it down. I'm gonna leave. And then you get the, you know, typical, oh, but, and then it's like, okay. And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Essentially, this film is just these motherfuckers actually talked. Everything would have been sorted out. That's what that is. It's, you know. But as I said, listen, it's a Lifetime movie, right? It wasn't made for me. It was made for those Lifetime fans, you know? So yeah, if that is you, then I'm sure that, yeah, you will jam to this, right? I'm sure you'll be like, oh my God, it meant so much, right? It's just holiday and just all of them ones, right? That's what this is, you know, those, you know, the New Yorker falls in love with an English prince. You know what I mean? It's one of them stories that are just like, oh no, this is so ridiculous. But if that's your jam, which is fine, that is absolutely fine. You don't have to like sci-fi and crazy action and no. It's all gravy, people. But yeah, if this is your jam, then Mistletoe Ranch is the film for you. Okay? Enjoy.